On September 27th, 2023, Valve officially dropped Counter-Strike 2, completely replacing CSGO, claiming it would be the same game but even better. Today though, as of the 12th of August 2024, almost a whole year later, the game only has 6 various game modes: Premier, Competitive, Wingman, Casual, Deathmatch, and Arms Race. You can play with a total of 17 different maps between all of them. These 12 here, plus their Wingman versions on top of Memento and Assembly, and of course the 3 Arms Race maps. Thank God we have workshop maps we can play too. But where is everything else? Like, CSGO had so much more to offer. I know it's been a while for those of us who played it, so in case you forgot, or for all the new CS2 only players, I want to go through everything Valve has still yet to add, because it's kinda depressing how much we're still missing after this long. Before I start, it is worth noting that I'm only going to be talking about the stuff that was actually in CSGO when it was replaced. I know there's a lot of older maps or various things players want to see that were in CSGO and removed a while before CS2 came along, but that's not going to be this video. Booting up the legacy version of CSGO that still does exist, by the way, while none of the official servers or anything like that exist, we can still see everything that was in the game when all the official servers were removed. So if I click the play button up here, starting with the game modes first, you'll see all are the same except for Danger Zone. And that was basically CSGO's Battle Royale. They dropped that back in 2018, if I remember correctly. Back when Fortnite and all those big Battle Royale games were becoming really popular, they wanted to kind of hop on that bandwagon. It had a max of 18 players, which was a lot smaller than 100 players about in a lot of the other ones. And while I do know a lot of players want to see this game mode come back, unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to happen. There's a lot of speculation online in the community, giving a lot of valid reasons for why Valve's probably not going to be focusing on Danger Zone for a long time. A lot of it having to do with the fact that no one was really playing Danger Zone when CSGO was removed. I know people remember how long the matchmaking would take from time to time. I personally remember having to wait like 30 or 40 minutes in a queue and still not even finding a game. I'd show you the tab 2 here in CSGO, but I literally can't even click on it anymore. They deleted it from the game files, and it's glitched to where if you hover over it, it says you have to unlock the game mode, which is kind of funny. Like I said though, other than that, all the game modes are the same, except for War Games. This is just called Arms Race and CS2. For those of you guys who may have not played CSGO, Arms Race came from the War Games category, which also had 3 other game modes in it: Demolition, Flying Scoutsman, and Retakes. Demolition was that game mode where every time you got a kill, you'd level up your gun or get a different gun. Similar to Arms Race, but working in a more casual game mode type instance. Flying Scoutsman was a game mode with really reduced gravity and super increased accuracy. So basically, it would go flying around the map, being able to no-scope people from across it and whatnot. And lastly, Retakes, which probably sounds pretty obvious. It's just a game mode specifically based for practicing retakes on the select maps in the queue. While I do know retakes and Arms Race were definitely played the most, Demolition and Flying Scoutsman weren't as popular, considering pretty much every time I remember playing it, there was a lot of bots in most of the lobbies if there were even real players. So considering that, I'm not sure we'll see these coming back anytime soon. But one other difference that is worth mentioning when we are talking about game modes is actually specifically for Deathmatch. And again, I know some of you guys are going to remember this, but you used to be able to choose the style of Deathmatch you wanted to play. It wasn't only free-for-all. On top of that, you had team versus team and then classic. Now, considering how popular Deathmatch is and how many people use it as a tool to like warm up and just practice aim, well, making it free-for-all by default definitely seems like a smarter idea, I think. I would still like to see the other 2 options to be able to play those as well, because I know some of you guys will agree with me, having free-for-all only and having those crappy spawn points sometimes is really annoying. Now, that wraps up everything I wanted to talk about for the game modes, but by viewing the different game modes, as I know a lot of you guys are probably pointing out, we are still missing so many maps in CS2, so let's talk about those next. Real quick, before I do, I need to pay for food and rent, so let me give a shout out to today's video sponsor, SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is hands down one of the best bot trading sites you can use with Counter-Strike skins. Say you want to upgrade some of your current skins to get something better, this would be the perfect site to do that with. You can also straight up buy skins too, and with their 35% deposit bonus plus my code, it gives anyone quite a nice balance to work with. There's even free giveaways you can enter and rewards for completing simple tasks on the site. Get started with a free $5 using my link in the description below. Alright, with that finally out of the way, coming back to competitive here, Counter-Strike 2 is still missing Agency, Cache, Train, and Tuscan. We do know Valve is working on Train. I don't know why it's been so delayed, but we did see it in the CS2 official trailers, so it's gonna come at some point sooner or later. And for Cache, we know Valve doesn't own the rights to that one. We're waiting for FM Pone to finish his remake. He's the one who owns the rights, so he's the one who's got to remake it before Valve would accept it back into the game. For Agency and Tuscan, I really don't know about those 2, but moving on to Wingman maps next, we're still missing Boyard, Chalice, Cobblestone, Train Again, Short Dust, and Lake. Lake's that one I know a lot of people want to see. To be honest, I don't know if Boyard and Chalice would actually come back. Those were like temporary community maps at the time that Valve added in to switch things up, but for sure, Cobblestone, Train, Short Dust, and Lake, like, where are they, Valve? Like, what are we doing? For Casual and Deathmatch next, because they use the same map group, we're missing Assault, Militia, Agency, Tuscan, Canals, Train Again, Cache Again, and Cobblestone again. Lastly, for War Games, we're missing a lot here, obviously, because we're missing 3 out of the 4 game modes. So you got some of the others that I mentioned already, plus Safe House, St. Mark, Lunacy, Monastery, Bank, and Sugarcane. I'll be honest, I forgot about some of these ones. I I forgot about Lunacy and Bank. These two are fun, at least in my opinion. Between all the game modes, those are basically all the maps we're missing though. Again, from the ones that were in CSGO at the time CS2 took over. But even though that's already quite a bit of missing stuff, there's still quite a few other things, and one of them is gonna have you really surprised. First up, we gotta talk about Overwatch. That tab that you could basically earn or unlock in CSGO that would allow you to review cases or past game demos to help Valve ban cheaters. It was like a way the community could go and review cases for Valve and help ban hackers faster, if that makes sense. It had its own tab and everything in CSGO. And while technically for CS2 it is in the game, it's limited to supposedly a super small group of people. And to be honest, the public doesn't even really know who these people are. Like, no one has access. It's safe to say it's not even in the game. Who knows why Valve's doing it like that? Let's just hope it comes out sometime soon, especially if VAC Live takes a lot longer. But continuing on with the next thing, we got warm-up 1v1s. You know, like those little warm-up 1v1 versions of maps that would start or happen before our comp game. For all my CS2 only players, you'll know the warm-up can be really quick, but back in CSGO, it used to take a few minutes longer sometimes. And because of that, or when it did happen, for whatever map you queued for, you would get to spawn in a little version of it, a 1v1 little version of it with one player from the enemy team. You know, allowing you to basically go at it with each other, having a little 1v1 with quick respawns until the game actually begins. For CS2, it doesn't have anything like that right now. And like I said, the warm-ups can go by really fast, but there are times where you're still waiting like for a minute or for 2 minutes sometimes. And having that feature back where you don't just have to sit and spawn or run around a map doing, you know, nothing, I personally would really like to see it back, and I know there's a fair amount of people who would too. Following that with a little bit more of a smaller thing, but something that a lot of people will remember, is clan tags from CSGO. You can't have a clan tag added to your name in CS2. To be completely honest, I'm not necessarily sure why this isn't a feature in the game, and maybe it's an issue with Steam and CS2 versus Steam and CSGO, I don't know. But yeah, if you don't know what this is, it's basically a shortened version of a clan or a group name you can put before a player's name, and then it shows up in game. So like when you get a kill, it would show up in the kill feed, or when you press tab to see the scoreboard, it would show up there too. A pretty simple little feature, but something you would think the game would have had by now, you know. And lastly for this video, the most kind of crazy thing to me that the game still doesn't have yet is, where are the CS2 achievements? CSGO on Steam specifically had 167 achievements you can earn. And I say Steam version because I guess the original Xbox and PlayStation versions of CSGO had a lot less. But even if Valve was really ultra lazy, why have they not just reset the CSGO achievements and moved them over for CS2? You know, replacing any text that says CSGO with CS2. They could have probably just done that. And you can't lie, working towards completing all the achievements for a game to complete it in that instance, that's a lot of fun and can be really rewarding for its bragging rights. But without it, the only things you can legitimately work for in the game right now is your premier rating, your map rating for specific competitive maps if you even care about those, and then of course your XP level and that badge that you get each year. I gotta be honest, besides the game modes and missing maps, out of all the things that I've talked about this video, I would like to see these back in the game the most. Other than that though, that pretty much wraps up everything missing from CSGO that was in the game at the time CS2 replaced it. When it comes to updates and other content that wasn't exactly in CSGO at that time, but stuff it had in the past like maps, operations, or other stuff like that, none of this was necessarily said to be coming at the time of the release. But we know it will one day, even if it takes a while longer because we still don't have the basic Go features. Don't forget they did the same thing with CSGO back in 2012 when it came out on Steam. Valve likes to take years to do things that should take months. But keeping that in mind, eventually CS2 will get all these features. Anyways, if you made it this far, definitely make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you are new. And yeah, now whatever video is showing on your screen, the YouTube algorithm thinks you might like. So do me a favor and go check it out.